What makes us so obsessed with classic cars? Is it how they sound? What about how they look? Their style and design that is timeless from any angle. Or is it that feeling of speed, unfiltered by any modern new car electronics? It's like a sensation that you've never felt before. And finally, one of the most important reasons of all, is it for the love of driving? Well, obviously those are all good things to love about a classic car, but there's a lot more to it than that. Each one of these cars isn't just a piece of metal, they all have a story with us. Take this 1968 Chevy Longhorn pickup for example. It was bought new and immediately put into service, touring the United States, checking out every single sightseeing spot that it could. The Chevy was enjoyed by the same family for 55 years. That's the original owner, Fred, and his dog, Rusty. In 2023, we purchased the truck from the original owner's grandson, and we plan to get it running and take it back so he can go for a ride again. Some of these classic cars are even a piece of history. This 1969 Chevy Suburban was special ordered by the California Highway Patrol in 1969. This truly was a purpose-built machine and was even special back then, being one of 3 that was sent to California's highest mountains and used for many life-saving rescue missions. This unit's history was almost lost forever and was close to being turned into a mud bog truck until we saved it in 2023 and even brought it back to California Highway Patrol headquarters. A high school kid's dream turned this 1956 Chevy into a race car back in the 1970s. Abandoned and forgotten for decades, a dream is what gave this Chevy a new lease on life. Instead of being scrapped and crushed into new soda cans, we are having a blast with our 56 Chevy and making all kinds of fun memories along the way. Even taking it back to the track that it raced at in the 1970s for the first time in decades. The racetrack even let my friend John and I be pace car for the night, and it was one of the coolest things that we've ever experienced. My dad and I bought this 1969 Camaro from someone who was saving it for the last 30 years for himself to restore. And before I knew it, this project turned into a full-fledged 4-year frame-off restoration with my dad in our garage at home. I tracked down some of the Camaro's previous owners and got to hear some crazy stories from when they owned the car in the 1970s and 80s. After spending thousands of hours on the Camaro, it turned out beautiful. And most of all, I have the memories and time that I spent with my dad that I will remember for the rest of my life. You see, there's a lot more to these cars than how they look, how they sound, and the experience of driving them. Each one has a history. Each one is tied to memories. Whether you're into cars or not, we all have a story with one. And without that car story, that passion that we all have for these machines will cease to exist.